And so here we are again with the by now familiar sequence of events. Black man shot by police, community enraged, and riots ensue. Wash, rinse, and repeat. And of course, all of that happened before anyone knew the full details of the story. Because you see, when a black man gets shot by police in the United States, you don't need to stop and ask questions like, why was he shot? You just assume it was a case of excessive force, that the cops are racist, and use that as an excuse to act like a pack of degenerate assholes that riot and loot and vandalize. And this is fine, because black people are oppressed, and we need to understand and empathize with their situation. And you know what? I agree. Black people are oppressed. They're oppressed by their own stupidity, ignorance, and rampant criminality. Oh, did I forget to mention? Not all. I'm not talking about all black people. So let's get some details about this case. A 23-year-old black man armed with a stolen gun was fatally shot Saturday afternoon by police in Milwaukee during a foot pursuit. The man has been identified as Sylville Smith. Smith was shot in the chest and arm. He fled from a car during a traffic stop Saturday about 2:30 p.m. in the Wisconsin city's north side. He was chased by two officers and was shot during the foot pursuit. Shortly after stopping the suspects, both occupants fled from the car on foot. The officers pursued the suspects, and during the foot pursuit, one officer shot one suspect, armed with a semi-automatic handgun. He said the officer ordered the man to drop his gun twice and then fired several times when he refused. A photo from the body camera clearly shows Smith had the gun in his hand when he was killed. The shooting led to unrest in the city Saturday night, with several buildings, including a gas station, auto parts store, hair salon, bank, and liquor stores, set on fire. Shots could be heard being fired near the scene of the shooting, and multiple police vehicles were damaged. One was set on fire, and two others were hit by rocks and other debris, sending one officer to the hospital with a head injury. 3 other officers were also hospitalized. So what do we know about Sylville Smith? Well, a friend, Nefertaria Gordon, told the Journal Sentinel that he, quote, was a nice, good person. He was really respected. That's why everyone came out. They're angry. Well, isn't that nice? But it turns out this nice, good, well-respected person, quote, had a lengthy arrest record. He had a misdemeanor conviction for carrying a concealed weapon, guilty findings on traffic offences for speeding, operating a motor vehicle without insurance, possession of open intoxicants in a motor vehicle, and operating a motor vehicle with a suspended licence. He was also arrested in 2015 on a charge of intimidating a witness, which was later dropped. He was also charged with first-degree recklessly endangering safety, a felony, and misdemeanor possession of THC earlier in 2015. Those charges were dismissed. Both cases stemmed from a February 2015 shooting in which he was a suspect. So no, he wasn't a good person. He was a scumbag. He was a shit stain on the asshole of this community. That being said, his criminal record and general scumbaggery shouldn't have any bearing on whether his shooting was unlawful or not. That'll be determined by the evidence. But the purpose of his friend's testimony, that he was a nice, good, respectable person, is to feed the narrative of the innocent black man that didn't do nothing. Wash, rinse, and repeat. So we have the innocent black man shot dead by police. What else do we need to complete the narrative? Let's hear from some other members of this community.
I'm going to actually bring in, though, Orlandis Jackson. He is 24. He lives in this area. Just to give you a sense of young people in this area and to watch your neighborhood go through this right now, just tell us what's going through your mind.
It's sad because, this will happen because they're not helping the black community. Like, the rich people, they got all this money and they're not trying to give us none. It's sad. It's like, and police, it's crazy.
So there you have it. It's the rich people's fault for not giving black people money. And we can infer that rich people means white people, because notice he didn't say help the poor people, it was help black people. So now we have the rest of the narrative. Black people poor, white people rich. White people don't help black people. Black people angry. Riots and looting justified. Now, if you've been following this story, this may not be the first time you've seen this semi-literate moron. But take note of what he says just a few seconds later.
How long have you lived out here?
I was born in Milwaukee, so.
And then did you notice a few hours ago the looting and that kind of thing? What, were you at home when it happened?
Yeah, I heard from a neighbor. They say it's like someone got killed on Sherman and Burleigh, and I was like, what? Then me and my mom, we drove over here and seen what happened, and it's pretty sad, really, what black people gotta go through.
Did you get that? He heard from a neighbor that someone got shot, and his reaction?
And I was like, what?
He seemed somewhat surprised, which is kind of interesting, given that, quote, the shooting came after 5 fatal shootings during a 9-hour stretch from Friday night to Saturday morning. It occurred just blocks from 3 of those homicides, police told the Journal Sentinel. As everyone knows, this was a very, very violent 24 hours in the city of Milwaukee. Well, it seems our friend here didn't know and was only surprised when there was a police shooting. I guess he must have missed all the others.
And I was like, what?
Now, no doubt, when this interview was conducted, not all the details of the police shooting was known. But it didn't seem to matter. The rioters had made up their mind. Somehow, they knew that this was an unjustified shooting of an innocent black man by police. And it was more evidence of systematic racism. Why else would they seek retribution against white people?
Man, no white person come down Sherman. He white. Beat his shit, bitch. That's about his car. Hey, look. White boy. God, they beating up every white person.
Again, all very understandable, given that the rich white people won't give black people any money. The victim didn't do nothing, and the cops are racist. Except there's a little wrinkle in this narrative. Quote, the officer who shot Smith, identified as Dominic Hegan Brown, has been placed on administrative leave. His name has not been released, but police say he is a 24-year-old man who's been with the department for 6 years. He's worked as an officer for 3 years. The officer is black. Again, the rioters probably had no idea about the race of the cop, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway. They're not interested in the details. They're just looking for an excuse to act out their deep-seated racism, and to be thugs, and to be criminals, and to vandalize, to loot, and to steal, and to blame their problems on other people, because that's easier than addressing the real problems in your own community. And you can always spin this as a black Uncle Tom cop that betrayed his disenfranchised people. You see, both Sylville Smith and Dominic Hegan Brown went to the same school and had the same choices in life. But one decided to be a race traitor and work for the man, whilst the other chose to be an innocent dindu. And so the narrative of black oppression continues. Wash, rinse, and repeat.